This series tells a story about James Reese, a former Navy SEAL officer whose entire platoon gets wiped out in an ambush that ends with a chaotic gunfight in an underground tunnel. After the deaths of his men in a mission gone wrong and the brutal killings of his wife and daughter, he embarks on a path of vengeance, killing everyone that has anything to do with either of those incidents. This series has a pretty basic setup for a paranoid conspiracy thriller. Unfortunately, the scripts are woefully short on actual thrills. Most of the show's 8 hours involve the veteran hunting down and creatively disposing of those who he sees as directly implicated in his recent misfortunes. This is one action subgenre that's filled with men who are coded as American heroes, killing lots of people in the name of intangible qualities like justice or freedom. There's no problem with that. Unfortunately, the problem with this series is that it works really hard to make sure its depressing revenge saga cannot be mistaken as either escapism or art. It treats itself far too seriously, as it cannot lean back on the spectacle to provide jolts of giddy escapism. The show is deadly serious and moralizing, rejecting any attempt to see it as no-strings fiction by having characters insist at every turn that Reese is doing the best right thing. This approach makes it even worse, as then we have big problem with Chris Pratt's performance. Pratt rose to world fame largely due to his affable charm and natural charisma, something that's never allowed to shine in this series. Instead, Reese is deadly serious throughout. It takes a bit of getting used to seeing him play against type over the course of the series. There's always the lingering feeling that you cannot genuinely buy him as a relentlessly unstoppable killing machine, despite the clear amount of training that went into pulling off those action sequences. Chris Pratt is perhaps not the best actor to bring out all the nuance of James Reese as a character. The show starts with much promise, but suffers a quick decline in the next few episodes due to the predictability of the plot. The dialogue is generic. It's just a way to move us along to the next action scene, and those action scenes are not even all that great. The plot defies logic, but it confidently shoves its way past any such concerns. The action is bloody but not exciting, and the story is not interesting. In between, we get boring family scenes and a paint-by-numbers conspiracy that gets more complicated but not any more compelling. The overly blatant scripts leave no room for nuance, just as mediocre direction leaves no room for genuine thrills. The show often pretends to have something deeper on its mind, only to spite its own attempts at thoughtful engagement again and again. The show scratches at the surface of real issues that impact veterans, only to abandon them repeatedly in favor of its protagonist's ceaseless single-minded mission. Overall, this kind of story should be our standard escapism. Unfortunately, it even fails to do that. The first episode is promising. Unfortunately, it's going down the hill afterwards. We do not recommend this series at all.